Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I forgot to show you this the other day, but iTrustCapital just went live with Ethereum staking, so now you can stake both Solana and Ethereum on the platform. I've got my fingers crossed about some kind of yield XRP product with regard to iTrustCapital, but I haven't heard anything yet. But Ethereum staking's live, Solana, so if those are your things, you can stake those and earn yield on, well, they call it rewards, but it's yield. So if you haven't opened an iTrustCapital account, I've got specific reasons. In fact, I use iTrustCapital's institutional grade custody for several reasons. One is I worry about being hacked and all that stuff, and keeping up with words and all. In the group today, I'm going to go tell you one of the big ones, and the ones you need to all be thinking about. I don't talk about it out here much, but one of the ones you need to all be thinking about. I'm going to show you one of the biggest reasons institutional custody is the way to go, in my opinion. If you haven't opened an iTrustCapital account, you can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRPArmy. And I've got an IRA, two IRAs, and a premium custody account. And there's a promo code here for you too if you want to get a $100 funding bonus. Okay, so this is a good little video on why the crypto markets have been down, like some of the reasons.
Ash Crypto is some of the reasons why the crypto market has been dumping. Options expiring, 23 billion in Bitcoin and Ethereum options will expire today. It's a quarterly options expiration, often brings in high volatility. Next one's around Christmas, just FYI. De-risk in mid-December. Definitely always brings volatility in the market. The OPEX days. U.S. government shutdown. The odds of U.S. government shutdown by October is now 67%. U.S. government shutdowns result in market corrections. Maybe adding fuel to the fire. China market sold off last night as well, says Huckleberry. You can throw that on top of the burning pile of fear in the market right now. Strong economic data, which is very counterintuitive. Check this out. Q2 GDP data revised up 3.8% versus 3.3%. America's economy's running hot, baby. It's cooking. America's back strong. The problem is that some will see that as lowering the chances of rate cuts, which as long as the labor market stays weak, rate cuts are probably going to keep on coming. There's still the expectation of 2 more rate cuts this year. Is that a guarantee? No, but it's likely to happen. Excess leverage. We talked about the leverage situation. So much leverage in the market, and it gets washed out. It's clap.
Okay, so that's why it's been down. This is what's important. September 17th, the Fed rate cut. October 18th to 25th, XRP spot ETFs, final decision dates. You got Grayscale, 21 shares, Bitwise, Canary Capital, Wisdom Tree, Franklin Templeton, CoinShares, Rex Shares. November 4th through 5th is the Ripple Swell Conference. Now, think about how much XRP in those spot ETFs is going to come out of that circulating or tradable supply. Combine that with this, is billions and billions of XRP supply to be deployed in an on-chain and off-chain markets over the next months. CeFi and DeFi about to lock up 5 to 10% of the total XRP supply in various yield opportunities over the next year. This doesn't include DATs either. And Zach Rector's retweeting, there's a clear demand for XRP yield. Just over the last week, more markets filed a $9.3 million cap with a few minutes filled. 9.3 million. Axelars are about to fill their cap at 6.5 million XRP within a couple of days. Doppler Finance hit 80 million TVL. Flare Networks is giving, they launched theirs this week, and they were also hitting their targets and having to open it up again. There's billions and billions of XRP supply to be deployed. It's very obvious to see what's coming if you're really paying attention. Now, folks, this is from shoot, I think it was back after the financial crisis when this was put out. Many of you have never seen it. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I encourage you to go watch it. It's hilarious, but It is the perfect cartoon video to illustrate the absurdity of what is the Federal Reserve. And this is a big part of what crypto is all about.
Did you hear about the Fed?
No, what about the Fed?
They announced another round of the quantitative easing.
What does that mean?
It means they are going to make large asset purchases via PAMO.
What does that mean?
It means they are going to expand their balance sheet and buy treasuries.
What does that mean?
It means they are going to print a ton of money.
So why do they call it the quantitative easing? Why don't they just call it the printing money?
Because the printing money is the last refuge of failed economic empires and banana republics, and the Fed doesn't want to admit this is their only idea.
So why do they want to print the money?
Because they say we have the deflation, and the deflation is very bad.
What is the deflation?
The deflation is when prices of the things we buy go down.
Isn't that good? Doesn't it mean the people can buy more of the stuff?
Yes, but the Fed said this is bad, especially during the recession.
So they think that during the recession, when the people have less money to buy the stuff, it is bad that the prices go down?
Yes, the Fed would rather have the inflation.
So why does the Fed think we have the deflation?
Because the CPI said so.
But aren't the food prices higher than a year ago?
Yes.
Aren't the gas prices higher than a year ago?
Yes.
Aren't the healthcare costs higher than a year ago?
Yes.
Aren't tuition prices higher than a year ago?
Yes.
Aren't the taxes higher than a year ago?
Yes.
Aren't the subway fares higher than a year ago?
Yes.
Aren't the stock prices higher than a year ago?
Yes.
Aren't the bond prices higher than a year ago?
Yes.
So what is deflating right now?
The only thing deflating that I can see is the Fed's credibility.
Did they have a lot of credibility to start with?
No.
Why not?
Because the Fed has been wrong about every major economic development in the past 20 years.
You mean they didn't see the internet stock bubble?
No. In fact, they helped fuel the internet stock bubble.
And they didn't see the housing bubble?
No, in fact, they helped cause the housing bubble.
And they didn't see the subprime crisis?
No, in fact, they told us subprime problems were contained right before the shit hit the fan and the Lehman went bankrupt.
So has the Fed ever been right about anything?
Let me see if I can think of anything.
So funny.
No, nothing.
Who runs the Fed?
The Fed is run by the Ben Bernanke.
Does the Ben Bernanke have a lot of business experience?
No, the Ben Bernanke has no business experience.
Does the Ben Bernanke have a lot of policy experience?
No, the Ben Bernanke has no policy experience.
Has the Ben Bernanke ever run in an election?
No, the Ben Bernanke has never run in an election.
So what qualifies him to run the Fed?
I don't know, maybe the fact that he has a nice beard.
But my
Anyway, I encourage you to watch the whole thing. It's great. That popped up. Now, you got to watch this. I found this clip. This is from 2024. This is at the World Knowledge Forum, and this guy is from NYU Stern, which I think is their school of business. He's talking about JPM coin and Ripple and XRP. You're going to like this.
Blockchain has been used also, finally, in this situation. Again, it hasn't been used in large magnitude in any of the other things that I talked about, except perhaps illegally, which, again, we don't have that much data about. But it has been used here in Ripple and JPM coin. So I'm sure this audience, if you've come here, I'm sure you know what blockchain is. But for this talk, we'll just say it's a ledger. It keeps track of who owns a certain token. And you can just transfer ownership very quickly of a token from one person to another on the blockchain. And that happens instantaneously. Okay, so that's all I'll say for blockchain now. So I'm going to give two examples. One is Ripple and one is JPM coin. So I'll talk about the differences in a minute. But the way it works is incredibly simple, right? It's that if you're US dollars, and again, I want to send money from the US to Korea. So all I do is I sell my US dollars and I buy a token. I'm going to talk about the two different kinds of tokens in a minute. But I sell my US dollar and I buy a token on a blockchain. And then all you do is you switch on the blockchain, you switch the ownership to the person that's supposed to get it. And that person sells the token for one, okay? So that's, whoa, that sounds like, whoa, that's so fast compared to when I showed you all those arrows before. Okay, so let me just talk though, it's not quite as easy as it sounds. Let me just describe why. So Ripple is one company that's been doing this since 2012. Its token is called XRP. So Bitcoin is one thing that trades on a blockchain. You can have other things trading on blockchain, the tokens, and that's XRP. And this is public permissionless. So anyone that follows the rules can kind of join and participate in this blockchain. It's open and public, okay? So the way the system works is if I want to send this money, I will look in Ripple's system and look for someone to quote me a price for essentially changing my dollars into yuan. If I find something that I like, I will do this transaction. So this depends on what Ripple calls its on-demand liquidity system. And then if it works in seconds. But I just want to point out what it's depending on. Like the blockchain dream is to have no financial intermediaries, but you're depending on someone willing to buy your dollars and sell you the token, and then on the other side to buy your token and give you yuan. So you're relying on you're relying on a set of market participants, so maybe it's not exactly the same as a bank, but it's similar, right? So you're relying on market liquidity to get this to work. The other kind of way this is being done is JP coin, for example. This is 2020. So this is not the blockchain dream. It's not public.
Isn't it interesting that JP launched JPM coin in 2020 right when Ripple got sued?
Anyone can participate. The only people who can play in this playground is JP Morgan and its clients. Okay, but they have their own coin. Now this is not a token. This is what's called a stable coin. So it's backed fully by US dollars. So stable coin means backed by a fiat currency. So in this case, US dollars. And then it works the same way, but it's only for JPM and its clients, and it's the stable coin. But I think this is an incredibly important step in blockchain, because now you have a super serious player. I mean, talk about JP Chase, the largest bank in the United States, that's now saying, we can make payments more efficient by using blockchain in this way. Blockchain.
It's pretty obvious what's going on. Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these videos. If you'd rather join through X, hit subscribe on X. We're going to talk. I'm going to tell you one of the biggest concerns that you should have, and why, in my opinion, why I keep my digital assets in institutional custody and I don't do the hard wallet stuff anymore. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.